You can be a good person, kind, funny, loyal, and honest, and have all of those beautiful qualities that people talk about in fairy tales. But if you are broke, the world does not treat you like a man. It treats you like a boy, because manhood, in its purest, most primal form, is measured by responsibility. If you cannot take care of yourself, how can anyone in their right mind trust you to take care of anything else? A man without money is a man without options, and a man without options is a man who gets told what to do every second of his life instead of being the one who decides how the world should move. You say you want to be the leader, you say you want to be the head of the household, but broke men do not lead. They follow the path that is paved for them by men who actually did the work. You want to protect your family, but protection requires resources, and you have none. You want to make decisions about your own life, but every choice you try to make gets blocked by the same pathetic answer, I cannot afford it. That is not freedom, that is a cage. And everyone around you can see you are a cage, so they treat you accordingly. They do not ask your opinion on serious matters because you have not proven you can handle serious matters. They do not come to you for help because you are the one who always needs help. They do not look at you and think strong, they think struggling. And struggling men do not command respect, they inspire pity. Pity is poison. Pity is what people feel for the weak, the broken, and the dying. You do not want pity, you want respect. But respect only comes when you demonstrate strength, and in the real world, money is one of the clearest indicators of strength, because it proves you can produce results under pressure. Think about every man you respect. Every single one has something in common. They handled their business, they paid their own way, they solved problems, and they took care of people. That is what earns respect. Now think about the men no one respects. The ones always borrowing, always complaining, always talking about what they are going to do while years pass and nothing changes. You do not want to be that guy, but if you are broke and not doing anything about it, that is exactly who you are becoming right now. The world is not going to applaud you for trying, it is going to judge you by results. You either show up with strength, resources, and the ability to handle yourself, or you show up weak, and weak men get walked over, ignored, dismissed, and eventually forgotten. This is especially true in relationships. A woman might love you when you are broke, but she will not respect you if you stay broke and do nothing about it. She will lose attraction because attraction is tied to strength. And a man who cannot even handle his own finances is not strong. He is a liability. She will start making the decisions. She will start losing faith in your ability to protect and provide. And before you cry about gold diggers, understand that wanting a man who has his life together is not shallow, it is survival instinct. No quality woman wants to build a life with a man who cannot even build his own life first. She wants a partner, not a project. If you are broke with no plan, no hustle, and no fire, you are a project, not a prize. Your children will not respect you if you cannot provide for them properly. They will grow up watching you stress, struggle, and fail to give them the life other kids have. And they will internalize the fact that you are not strong. They will not say it to your face, but they will feel it. And that will shape how they see you forever. You do not want your kids growing up ashamed of their father. But that is exactly what happens when you are broke and stay broke. You become the cautionary tale instead of the example. You become the reason they leave town and never look back instead of the foundation they build on. That is what being a broke man costs you. It costs you your legacy. So stop pretending money does not matter. Stop hiding behind philosophy and spirituality and all the other cope mechanisms people use to feel better about losing. Money matters because it is a tool that allows you to take care of everything and everyone you claim to care about. Without it, you are weak, and weak men do not get respected, they get tolerated. Tolerated until someone stronger shows up. Tolerated until people get tired of carrying you. Tolerated until you become invisible. That is your future if you stay like this, invisible, irrelevant, and ignored. Or you can decide today that you are done being broke, done being weak, and done being the man nobody takes seriously. You can choose to become dangerous. Learn a skill that makes money. Build something that generates value. Work harder than everyone around you. Sacrifice comfort now for power later. Become the man who walks into a room and people feel his presence because his life is proof that he does not quit, does not make excuses, and does not accept defeat. That man gets respect. That man gets listened to. That man gets to live life on his terms. Be that man or spend the rest of your life wishing you were. You are poor, you can barely afford a piece of bread, and still you are not trying. Shame on you. You sit there broke, scrolling, laughing at memes while your life is burning to the ground in slow motion. You pretend everything is fine, but your wallet is empty, your bank account is a joke, and your future is a black screen. Somehow you still think you have the right to relax. You are not a millionaire taking a day off. You are a man who cannot even take care of himself properly. Yet you act like you earned comfort. You walk past shops, see things you want, clothes, phones, bikes, cars, and you feel that sting of I can't afford it. And instead of letting that pain turn you into a machine, you just swallow it and go back to wasting time. You are poor, and instead of treating poverty like an emergency, you treat it like a personality. You joke about being broke with your friends like it is funny that you cannot help your parents, cannot invest in yourself, and cannot buy what you want without checking the price 10 times. There is nothing funny about being unable to protect the people you love. There is nothing funny about watching your parents grow older while you still sit in the same room on the same bed with the same phone, doing nothing but dreaming. You say money isn't everything, but you only say that because you do not have it. If money truly didn't matter, you would not feel that frustration every time you have to ask someone for help. You would not feel that humiliation when you have to say no to plans because you are broke. Still, with all that pain in your chest, you are not trying. Shame on you. There are men out there who started with less than you. No support, no connections, no comfort, and they decided that being poor was not an identity. It was a temporary situation to escape from. They used their anger as fuel. You use your anger as an excuse. You sit and say my country, my city, my family, my circumstances, as if you are the only person in history with problems. You think poverty is a prison with no door. But the truth is, the door is open and you refuse to stand up. You are not cursed, you are comfortable. You are comfortable with cheap entertainment, comfortable with average clothes, comfortable with borrowed money, comfortable with promising yourself next month and then doing nothing. You are poor in money and poor in effort. You can barely afford a piece of bread and still spend hours on your phone every day instead of learning a skill, making calls, sending messages, trying to sell, trying to network, trying anything. Do you understand how insane that is? Your reality is screaming at you. Wake up, you are losing. And you mute it with videos, games, and gossip. It should disgust you to be unable to pay for your own life. It should burn your insides that your parents still worry about money while you sit in another room staring at a screen. You want respect, but you don't earn results. You want people to admire you, but for what? For surviving? Everyone survives. Real respect comes when you become the person who changed the situation, not the one who cried about it. You think rich people are lucky? No, they are relentless. They worked when they were tired, they learned when they were confused, they tried, failed, and tried again while you are stuck in the planning phase of your life for the 3rd year in a row. Look at your day with brutal honesty. How many hours did you invest in your future today? Not think, not dream, not talk. Actually invest. How many hours did you spend building a skill, creating something, offering value, or pushing your limits? If the answer is close to 0, then you know why you are poor. You are not unlucky. You are inactive. You can barely afford a piece of bread, and that should be your villain origin story, not your aesthetic. Poverty should be the reason you become dangerous, not the excuse you use to stay weak. Shame on you if you see your family struggling and still choose laziness. Shame on you if you know your situation is bad and still wait for some miracle instead of becoming the miracle. No one is coming. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you the life you want. If you stay like this, the only thing the future will give you is more of what you already have. Stress, anxiety, regret, and the constant humiliation of knowing you could have done more and didn't. Use the shame properly. Let it slap you awake. Let it drive you to war against your own laziness. You are poor today, fine. But if you are still poor in 5 years with the same habits, that is not fate, that is your choice. Stand up and work like your life depends on it, because it does. You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll, and you wonder why your life is a joke compared to the people you watch. You look at men with money, bodies, respect, and power, and you convince yourself they got lucky, they had help, they had rich parents, they had connections. Anything to avoid the truth that would burn your ego to ashes. The truth is simple. You are not losing because the world is against you. You are losing because there is no fire inside your chest, just smoke, excuses, and cheap dopamine. You are not tired. You are untrained. You are not unlucky. You are undisciplined. You are not depressed. You are drowning in a lifestyle that kills any warrior spirit you could have had. Look at your day honestly for once. You hit snooze 3 times. You lie in bed staring at a screen. You eat garbage. You complain about school, college, your job, parents, government, inflation, everything except the one person who actually controls your life, you. There are people your age waking up before sunrise, going to the gym, working on side hustles, learning skills, pushing their limits, and you are sitting there telling yourself one day as if time cares about your dreams. You think the universe owes you success because you want it really badly, while you cannot even keep a promise to yourself for 7 days straight. You want a millionaire lifestyle with minimum wage discipline. You want respect while living like a joke. That's why you are losing. Not because you are weak genetically, but because you accepted weakness mentally. Somewhere along the line, you became comfortable being average, and that comfort is killing you slowly. One scroll, one skipped workout, one ignored opportunity at a time. You feel that emptiness at night when you are alone with your thoughts, that heavy feeling in your chest that whispers you could be so much more than this. That voice is the last piece of fire left inside you, but instead of feeding it with action, you suffocate it with distraction. You keep looking for motivation videos like they are fuel, but motivation is not fuel, it is a spark. The fuel is what you do after the video ends. Most people never change because they confuse feeling inspired with actually transforming. You watch clips, you nod your head, you say facts in the comments, and then you go back to the same lazy routine. You think your problem is that you haven't found the right video yet? No, your problem is you have not decided to become dangerous yet. Fire is not something you find, it is something you build. It starts the first day you decide I am done being the weak version of myself, and you actually prove it with action. Not talk, not dreams, not vision boards, action. Think about the man you want to be in 5 years. Stronger, richer, respected, calm, dangerous, disciplined. Now compare him to the man you are today. Unfocused, tired, scrolling, complaining, emotional, easily distracted. The distance between those two men is not luck. It is hours of work you are refusing to do. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you vote against your future self. Every time you skip the gym, you are telling your body to stay weak. Every time you waste 3 hours on your phone, you are telling your brain to stay empty. Every time you say I'll start tomorrow, you are telling your soul you don't matter. That is why you feel empty. Not because life is meaningless, but because you know you are betraying yourself. Winners are not special humans. Winners are people who got sick of their own nonsense. They felt the same laziness, the same fear, the same doubt, but they refused to be controlled by it. They built fire. Fire is waking up when your bed is warm and your body screams sleep and you get up anyway. Fire is going to the gym when your legs hurt, your back hurts, and your mind is full of excuses and you lift anyway. Fire is opening the laptop, studying, building, and learning when everyone else is wasting time. Fire is saying no to friends who want to drag you back into mediocrity. Fire is choosing pain now so you do not live in regret later. Look at the people you admire, the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the warriors. They are not addicted to comfort, they're addicted to progress. They wake up with pressure, stress, and problems just like you, but they treat those problems like weights in the gym, something to lift, not something to run from. Meanwhile, you treat every difficulty like proof that you should quit. One bad day and you disappear. One setback and you call yourself a failure. You get rejected once and suddenly it's not meant for you. Do you understand how soft that sounds? Life is not attacking you, life is testing you. And so far you are failing the test because your fire dies at the first sign of wind. You need to become the kind of person who gets more dangerous the harder life hits. If someone insults you, improve so much that their words become comedy to you. If your bank account is embarrassing, use that pain as pure jet fuel and build skills until money chases you. If your body is weak, skinny, or fat perfect, that means every workout will show visible progress if you stay consistent for 6 months. But you will not see any of that if you keep living like a spectator in your own life. You watch other people's stories all day while yours is blank. You celebrate their wins while you haven't even started your own game. This is the brutal reality. No one is coming to save you. No one cares about your excuses, and no one will cry for the life you wasted. The world only respects results. You either show up with strength, money, discipline, and value, or you get ignored. That's how the game is played. You can call it unfair, or you can become so powerful that fairness doesn't matter. The fire inside you starts the day you decide you are done being the victim of everything and the master of nothing. It starts when you look at your life and say, this is my fault. And that is good, because if it is my fault, I can fix it. Take your laziness personally. Treat it like an insult. Every time you feel like skipping the gym, remember, you are training yourself to be a loser. Every time you avoid difficult work, remember you are choosing a future where people talk over you, earn more than you, and control you. If that doesn't burn you inside, then you are already finished. But if it does, even a little, then that spark is your chance. Feed it. Start small, but start violently. Wake up earlier than usual tomorrow, even if it is just 1 hour. Do a workout, even if your muscles scream. Spend 1 focused hour learning a skill that can make you money. Sales, coding, editing, design, anything. Delete apps that waste your time. Distance yourself from people who are comfortable being failures. Write down exactly who you want to be, and then act like that person now, not one day. Your environment is gasoline. Choose whether it feeds your fire or kills it. Deep down, you know you were not built for a boring, weak, unnoticed life. You feel that calling in your chest when you see greatness. That's your soul recognizing what you could become if you stopped betraying yourself. So understand this clearly. You are losing right now. Not because you lack talent, not because life is hard, but because you lack fire. Build it, protect it, and then let the entire world feel the heat. If you are broke, trust this, nobody respects you. Nobody in this world, not even your parents. Before you start crying about how harsh that sounds, look at reality. When you have no money, no discipline, and no results, people may love you, but they do not take you seriously. They nod when you talk, but they do not believe in you, because even you do not believe in you. Your parents might care for you, they might feed you, they might worry about you, but deep inside they are disappointed that their own blood grew up and still cannot stand on his own 2 feet. They will never say it directly, but you can feel it in their eyes when the bill comes and they are still the ones paying while you sit there useless. You feel that sting when they tell relatives he is still figuring things out, because that is a polite way of saying he has not done anything yet. The world is brutally simple. Value first, respect second. When you are broke, you are not providing value to anyone, not to your family, not to your community, and not to yourself. You are just consuming their food, their electricity, their time, and their emotional energy. You are another responsibility, not an asset. That is why no one listens when you talk big. That is why your opinions get dismissed. That is why nobody rushes to follow your lead. Leadership comes from proof, and you have none. You can shout about your dreams all day, but until you bring results, your words are air. People listen to the man who can pay the bill, who can solve the problem, who can open a door, not the man who needs help with everything. Even your friends treat you differently when you are broke. They start making plans without you because they know you can't afford it. They stop asking you for advice on serious matters because they look at your life and think he can't even fix his own situation. You become the meme friend, the funny guy, the chill guy, everything except the respected guy. Deep down, that eats you alive. You pretend you do not care. You say things like real ones don't judge by money. But in your gut, you know that when you have nothing, you are easier to ignore. When you speak, your words do not carry weight because your life does not back them up. This is not about worshiping money. This is about understanding how humans work. Respect is tied to responsibility. When you can protect, provide, and produce results, people look at you differently. When you are the man who can help, who can fix, who can pay, who can move things forward, suddenly your phone gets answered faster, your opinions get heard longer, and your presence feels heavier in the room. Right now, when you are broke and lazy, your presence is light, easy to overlook. You feel it yourself. When you enter a room with successful people, you become quieter, smaller, because you know you have not done the work. So do not hide behind comforting lies like money doesn't matter or real love is unconditional. Love can be unconditional, but respect is not. Respect is earned. Your parents do not want you to worship money. They want you to stop being a burden. They want to see you strong enough to carry your own weight and then some. The day you can tell your parents, don't worry, I've got this, and actually mean it, is the day their respect for you changes forever. Until then, understand the position you are in. Broke, dependent, and easy to ignore. Let that sting. Let it humiliate you enough to transform you. You can stay broke and demand respect from a world that only listens to results. Or you can become the kind of man whose life is so solid that nobody can help but respect him when he walks into a room. Having money is extremely important in life. I agree that with money you cannot buy everything, but without money you cannot buy anything. And that is the trap most people do not understand until it is too late. They romanticize poverty like it is noble, like being broke makes you more real or humble. But all it really makes you is powerless. You cannot buy happiness directly, sure. But try being happy when you cannot afford the doctor when your parents are sick. Try being at peace when you cannot pay rent and you might get kicked out. Try being calm when every emergency becomes a crisis, because you have no buffer, no safety, and no options. Money does not solve every problem, but the lack of money creates most of them. Every stress conversation in your house is about money. Every fight your parents had when you were young, most of them traced back to money. Every dream you killed before it started, you killed it because you thought you could not afford to chase it. That is what being broke does. It does not just take your comfort, it takes your choices. When you have money, you have options. When you have options, you have freedom. When you have freedom, you can breathe. Right now, you are suffocating and pretending it is fine. You tell yourself, at least I have my health, but you are not even taking care of your health because the gym costs money, good food costs money, and your time is wasted on surviving instead of thriving. You tell yourself money isn't everything, and then you spend the rest of your day stressed about money. Do you see the lie you are living? You are pretending money does not matter while your whole existence is limited by the lack of it. Without money, you cannot invest in yourself. You cannot take that course, buy those books, afford that mentor, travel to that opportunity, or take the risk that could change everything. You are stuck and you call it being grounded. No, you are being buried alive in mediocrity. Look at what money actually buys. It buys your parents' comfort in their old age. It buys your own confidence when you walk into any room knowing you are not there to beg. It buys respect, not because people are shallow, but because money is proof you solved problems, added value, and got results. It buys time, the one thing you can never get back, because when you are rich, you do not waste hours commuting on cheap transport or working jobs you hate just to survive another month. It buys safety for your family. It buys the ability to say yes to the life you actually want, instead of sitting on the sidelines watching everyone else live. That is what money does. It does not make you a better human, but it makes being a good human easier because you are not constantly in survival mode. You can actually think, plan, build, and become something greater. But here you are, broke, and still not treating it like the emergency it is. You are living like you have time to waste. You are living like poverty is a phase that will magically end. It will not. If you do nothing, you will be broke at 25, broke at 30, broke at 40, and then you will be the old man with regrets, telling young people to follow their dreams, while your own life is proof that dreams without execution are just fantasies. The people who escape poverty are not lucky. They are obsessed. They do not accept this is just how it is. They declare war on their situation. They work multiple jobs. They learn at night. They sacrifice comfort now for power later. They understand that being broke is not a personality trait. It is a problem with a solution. And the solution is simple. Become valuable. Learn skills people will pay for. Solve problems people will pay to fix. Build something people will pay to access. Sell, serve, create, and produce anything except sitting and hoping. You cannot buy everything with money, true, but name one important thing you can do without it. You cannot build a business without capital. You cannot take care of your family without resources. You cannot even respect yourself when you are 30 years old and still asking for help with basic life expenses. Money gives you the foundation to chase everything else. Health, you need money for good food, good care, and time to train. Relationships, you need money to take someone out, to travel, to not be stressed every second. Freedom, you need money to quit the job you hate and build the life you want. Peace of mind, you need money so that emergencies do not destroy you. Everything you care about is either bought with money or made significantly easier when you have it. Stop lying to yourself that it does not matter. It matters more than almost anything because it powers everything. So if you are broke right now, understand this. You are not just poor in your wallet. You are poor in effort, poor in discipline, and poor in vision. The world does not owe you anything. Your situation will not fix itself. You can cry about the economy, about your background, about your lack of opportunities, or you can realize that millions of people started with less and still won because they refused to stay down. Get angry. Use that anger as fuel. Look at your empty account and let it disgust you so much that you cannot sleep until you have done something about it. Work like your life depends on it, because it does. Learn, build, sell, try, fail, try again. Become so valuable that money chases you instead of you begging for it. That is the only way out. Not complaining, not waiting, not hoping. Action. Relentless, obsessive, disciplined action until you are no longer the man who cannot afford a piece of bread, but the man who can afford to take care of everyone he loves and still have power left over. That is when respect comes. That is when freedom comes. That is when you finally become the man you were supposed to be all along. Lock in now. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not after this one last weekend of relaxing. Now. This exact second is when your life changes or stays the same forever. You have heard enough. You have watched enough videos. You have consumed enough motivation to fuel a decade of success, but you have executed none of it. You are full of information and empty of results. That ends now. Locking in means you stop negotiating with yourself. Stop having debates in your head about whether you feel like it or not. Your feelings are the enemy. Your feelings want you comfortable, safe, warm, entertained, and broke. Your feelings are designed to keep you alive, not make you great. So stop listening to them like they are giving you good advice. They are not. They are keeping you exactly where you are, stuck, average, and invisible. Locking in means you create non-negotiable rules for yourself and you follow them like your life depends on it, because it does. Wake up time, non-negotiable. Gym time, non-negotiable. Work hours, non-negotiable. Learning time, non-negotiable. You do not skip because you are tired. You do not skip because it is hard. You do not skip because your friends are hanging out. You lock in and you execute day after day until discipline is no longer a choice. It is who you are. That is when everything changes. That is when you stop being the guy who tries and become the guy who wins. The guy who tries is still broke in 5 years, making excuses. The guy who locks in is unrecognizable in 5 years because he rebuilt himself completely. Understand what locking in actually costs. It costs your old life. It costs your comfort. It costs lazy friendships with people who do not want anything. It costs sleeping in. It costs binge-watching shows. It costs scrolling for hours. It costs blending in with average people. All of that has to die so the new you can be born. And that is the part most people cannot handle. They want the results without the sacrifice. They want the respect without the discipline. They want the money without the work. That is not how it works. You pay first, then you get paid. You suffer first, then you succeed. You lock in and grind in the dark for months or years while everyone else laughs at you, calls you crazy, and tells you to just relax. Then one day you emerge as someone they cannot recognize, someone they cannot ignore, and someone they suddenly always believed in. But you will remember who was there when you had nothing, and you will remember who doubted you, and that memory will keep you locked in forever because you will never go back to being that weak version of yourself. Lock in now means you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You are not going to feel ready. You are not going to have all the answers. You are not going to be fully prepared. Start anyway. Start messy. Start scared. Start broke. Start tired. Just start. Every day you wait is another day someone else is getting ahead of you. Every day you delay is another day your parents get older while you are still not strong enough to help them. Every day you waste is a day you will never get back, and one day you will be 40 years old wondering where it all went, and the answer will be simple. You spent it waiting instead of building. Do not let that be your story. Lock in now. Make today the day you look back on and say, that was when everything changed. That was when I decided I was done being a joke. Your future self is watching you right now. He is either proud or disgusted. He is either grateful that you locked in and built the foundation for his success, or he is furious that you wasted years he can never get back. Which version do you want to meet? The one who respects you because you fought when it was hard, or the one who hates you because you quit when it mattered most? That decision is happening right now in this moment, in how you spend the next hour, the next day, and the next week. Lock in. Stop reading and start doing. Close this, stand up, and take one action right now that moves you forward. One workout, one message, one application, one line of code, one sales call, one page written, something, anything. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results, and results create respect. That is the only path. There is no secret. There is no hack. There is only locking in and refusing to quit until you become undeniable. Lock in now and do not stop until the world has no choice but to respect the man you became. There is a specific frequency of excellence that only reveals itself to the man who is truly obsessed. Most of you want to be successful like you want to breathe, but you don't even have the lung capacity to hold your breath for 30 seconds. You want the deep sea treasures of the elite while you're afraid to get your hair wet. You look at the high stakes game of global business, of physical dominance, of social mastery, and you think there's a shortcut. There are no shortcuts. There is only the long, grueling, painful road of becoming someone that the universe cannot ignore. You think The Matrix is just a movie? The Matrix is a set of systems designed to keep you weak, feminized, broke, and compliant. It wants you to stay in your lane, pay your taxes, watch the news, eat the seed oils, and die quietly without ever making a ripple in the ocean of history. Every time you accept the easy path, you are feeding the machine that enslaves you. To lock in is to declare war on that machine. It is to say, I will not be a statistic. I will not be another forgotten soul who spent 80 years consuming and 0 years creating. You have a divine spark of masculinity inside you that is being suffocated by convenience. You have air conditioning, Uber Eats, and infinite pornography at your fingertips. And you wonder why you feel like a shell of a man. It's because a man is designed for friction. We are designed to overcome. When there is no enemy, we become our own enemy. We start attacking our own potential. We start self-sabotaging because the lack of struggle is making us insane. So you have to manufacture that struggle. You have to go to the gym and put weight on your back until you feel like you're gonna snap. You have to sit in front of the screen and solve problems until your brain burns. You have to go out and face rejection until your ego is dead. That is the only way to find the fire. You're waiting for a sign? This is a sign. You're waiting for a mentor? Look in the mirror and demand more from that person. The elite don't have better brains than you. They have better habits. They have a higher tolerance for pain. They have a longer vision. While you're thinking about the weekend, they're thinking about the decade. While you're thinking about how you feel, they're thinking about what needs to be done. Success is binary. You either have the results or you have the excuses. You cannot have both. So choose your hard. Being broke is hard. Working your way to millions is hard. Choose one. Being lonely and ignored is hard. Building the discipline to be high value is hard. Choose one. Staying in the same spot for 20 years while everyone else passes you by is hard. Pushing your limits every single day is hard. Choose one. Everything in this life is a trade-off. What are you willing to trade? Your comfort? Your pride? Your sleep? If you're not willing to trade anything, you'll never get anything. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards performance. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are if your bank account is 0. It doesn't matter how much you know if you don't do anything with that knowledge. Knowledge is not power, execution is power. So execute. Start today. Start the second. Lock in and never look back. The man you could be is waiting for you to kill the man you are. Do it now.